good win. That's a good basketball team, well coached. You know, you look at them. That's a team that's a dangerous team. I mean, they got players. And that's a good win for us. Good basketball game. Guy stepped up in the end to get some stops, and we got the W. Crowd was terrific in the last 2:30 there. They kind of gave us a little extra oomph to get a stop or two. So we will take it. Caravan moves forward, and you don't take any win, as I've said, for granted. You enjoy each one, and good W as we move forward in conference.
It must feel like down the stretch, to you, like we can't get a rebound. And you knew that coming in that was their thing, second chance.
Yeah, I mean, Jason, they're a great offensive rebounding team. They some of their best offense is offensive rebounding. They miss shots and go to the glass, and we've been really good this year on the glass, and today we weren't. And so you got to give Marshall credit. They pounded us on the glass, and so you got to give them credit on that. And DeAndre Kane's a player. There's no doubt. And the kid D.D. Scarver's a player. So they got players, man. They got good players. They're well coached. They got good players. You don't have to be a rocket scientist to recognize that that's a good team. Stop looking at records and what they've done in the past. Everyone here is a sports person. You know it. You can't judge this, or you have to it's just each game by itself. There's tremendous parity. We are everyone's World Series and Super Bowl. You play someone in an arena, they get 500 people. You come to Memphis, and it's the biggest game of the year. They're so excited to play in FedEx Forum. 16,000, 17,000 people, that's what they look forward to. They don't look forward to playing in front of 800, 900 people. That's what happens in our conference. We get everyone's best shot. And there's players all throughout the country. Everyone's good. There's good teams all throughout the country. And so this is another prime example where you have just another good basketball team and a dangerous team. So we will take the win however we get it, and good to get that and move forward.
Hey, Coach, in the past you've been stressing the defense, but was the defense today lack of your effort or a combination of good Marshall team versus some misses on your team? Marshall
was good. We also didn't do a good job of containment, and which allowed them to get into the paint, which forced us to have to help, which put us in a deficit in a rotation situation, which made it that when the shot was missed, they were right there where they're really good at the weak side rebounding. And that's where they killed us at. They really hurt us on that weak side rebounding. So, and because we didn't do a good job of containment. So which we've been really good at, but that is something that we got to get back and emphasize this upcoming week of practice.
Was this almost a no-win situation in this game? You got a team coming off a 56-point beatdown. That's all that we talked about all week. And you knew coming in that this team was not as bad as they looked, but they were going to bring it. It's a no-win.
It's a no-win situation because a lot of the media members only looked at the score, and you just said it, Matt. I heard you at 9 a.m. to 11. You just talked about the game. Southern, how does this happen? There's no way they can be. But that's not. Again, and it's not your job to watch tape and see the other teams and see this. All you do is look at score. So I understand it. If we switch roles, I would have said the same thing. The facts are, the reality of it is we've all been on that side where it's just a bad game, where you just have a bad game. Every coach has gone through it. Everyone's gone through it. It's just a free-for-all, and it just happens. They were better than what they were on Wednesday. We know that. They might have been. They were probably looking past that game coming to us. And they're better than what their record is. And so it's just that's what I keep saying. It's college basketball. It's what it is. It's not what it was in 1980s or the 1990s or the early 2000s. It's wide open this year, and it's going to be wide open for as the years move forward in the landscape of college basketball. I'm just telling you.
Speaking of no-win situations, is there a real pressure to have to be perfect in this? I mean, you're not allowed to have one of those games from now until the end of the season. You're not allowed to, or else you'll be on the bubble or have to win the tournament or whatever. I mean, is there a pressure in that?
Well, let me tell you this. I tell everyone this, Jeff. This is, it's the pressure. I tell everyone all the time, this is one of the most pressurized jobs, again, in basketball context. I'm not talking about real life stuff, but in the basketball world of sense of stuff, it's one of those pressurized situations due to, one, the expectations. Secondly, because of what the perception is of the Conference USA, and which isn't fair. And beat my head against the wall trying to promote the league, and I don't think it gets any fair. You see this Marshall team; they're better than what they are. I mean, it's just, but we don't get any respect. You know, the league doesn't get any respect. So it's every game, and I'm telling you, that's hard. That's not easy, and it's not just for us; it's for the entire league, and it's because this league is the best it's been since I've been here in this 4 years. Is the best it's been since the realignment in this 4-year stretch. You know, some years better than the others, but this 4-year stretch has been the best. So, but we don't get credit for it. It's because a lot of people are not informed, don't do any homework. They just say a bunch of things on Twitter. They just say a bunch of things via the radio, via the newspaper. Just say stuff without actually doing homework. And what that does is it influences people. And people believe it. And when I'm just saying, hey, it's not like that. All throughout the country, everyone's good. There's talent all throughout. I mean, you see these guys, the teams we play, everyone's good. So yes, Jeff, it is. It's a very and again in the basketball terms, it's a very, very pressurized situation because of the situation where we're at with the expectations of Memphis, who I followed as the head coach, and on top of that, on having no respect within the league. Now, you can say, well, you put yourself in that position, Coach, by not winning enough in the Bahamas and this and that. You're right. We didn't win enough in the Bahamas. But you know what? When we scheduled, you know, if you go back on ESPN.com in the summer, they looked at our non-conference strength of schedule. You know what they said? They had it rated as a 10, one of the toughest non-conference strength of schedules in the country. Then, through this year, I've had people blast our schedule. I'm like, hey, how are you blasting our schedule? I can't – scheduling's predicting and forecasting. In the summer, people said we had ESPN said that one of the toughest non-conference strength of schedule. Last year, top 10 non-conference strength of schedule. And you know how I felt about last year, Jeff, with our numbers, and we ended up getting an 8 seed. So a lot – and people still – it still is human beings, you know, dealing with stuff, and people can be influential, you know.
I would argue the point, Josh, that some people do their homework. Some people know what they're talking about.
I didn't say everybody.
I know,
Yeah.
I know, but that they know what they're talking about.
People that don't can take it for who they think they can. You know, I'm not have to call any names out. I want to take the high road, but the ones that don't do the homework, you know who you are. Some of you might not even be sitting here today.
I agree with, look, you come in here and you say it's a good win, and it is a good win. Any win's a good win. I do understand that point. And you've won 10 in a row, and you can't argue with 10 in a row. But let me ask you this. What are you saying to your players that's different than what you're telling us about that performance today? Or did you come and say, hey, it's a great win?
Well, a couple things. I mean, you know, it's a win. So the last time I checked, it's a W. So, you know, you'll take it. And guys, it's not easy to win 10 in a row. It's not easy to win 14 of 15. It's not. I don't care what anyone says. It's not easy. And so, you know, I go in the locker room there, and I keep it all positive because what are you going to do? I mean, there's you know, we need to watch film. I need to break down the film. And right there at that point, you know, guys are in good spirits. We won the game. The teaching and the coaching part comes in on Monday when we get to practice and we can watch the film. They can see it. I can break it down and go from there. So, and let me emphasize this: there is a lot of media members that do their job. I have as my wall in the Finch Center. Do your job. You guys, a lot of you guys do your job and are informed. I'm just not going to call out names, the ones that aren't.
Hey, Coach, this is the second game in a row. Jerron has 2 quick early fouls.
Yep.
What can be done to minimize the early fouls, not just on him, but on other players on the team to keep him in the game?
You just got to stay out of foul trouble. I think that threw him off rhythm. You know, he missed those 2 free throws, but, man, the guy saved us so many times before, hit some big shots. So Chris came through for us and hit a big shot and those big free throws. So he's got to not foul. He's got to protect his first foul. Secondly, DJ was really in the dumps. He thought he had a horrible first half. And again, I you know, after the game, he was really down. I had to pick his spirits up and say, "Hey, man, that happens." He says, "Coach, I was not good that first half." So, you know, he will. I told him again, how many times have you come through for your teammates, and your teammates came through for you today?
What were you so mad about Lamar at the end of the game? What
let me just say
Lamar
this.
do?
Lamar was the nearest guy to me. What happened was I didn't feel, Jeff, that the clock had started. And I was like, I felt like I was, you know, I was just, I needed to talk and yell at somebody, like, who's, you know, what's going on? How did the clock not start? Because look, I just showed our team the other day, the VCU Richmond game. VCU was up 7 twice, late, under 45 seconds to go. And obviously, and Shaka's a friend, and he's one of the greats, I'm just telling you, but but and they're a tremendous team. But and they ended up losing the game, and I showed our guys that again. Just say anything can happen, and I showed them how things happened. I used it as a teaching moment, and it could. I mean, look, if they hit the 3, clock doesn't start, it goes in, and there's still time left. We still got to throw the ball in bounds. You can say, well, it can't happen. In this day and age, you can never say it can't happen. So I was just upset I didn't feel the clock started, so Lamar was the nearest guy to me. Lamar knows never to take it personal. I love Lamar. I'll do anything for him. I think he's the best SID in the entire country. I would do anything for Lamar Chance, and he knows that.
Obviously, the goal is to do as well as you can do. Do you think you can take a loss before the conference tournament and not be in a position where you have to win the tournament to get in the tournament?
I can answer that question. I just can't answer that today. It's too many games left, and I've been very right on everywhere where we've been with the numbers that we need to get to know that are we in, are we out, are we in the bubble, where we're at. Now, obviously, I was not right about the seeding last year, but I've known if we're 100% going to be in or not because I've had a good feel on that because I've studied it. So I can't answer that right now, Jeff. Too many games left. If you ask that same question 3 weeks from now, 4 weeks from now, I can give you a direct answer and tell you kind of where we're at. But kind of going back from, like I like to say, from last year, we're not out of the woods yet. A lot of games left. We're not out of the woods. And Jeff, the other thing on that is, it's. I mean, but that's not just with us. I mean, that's all throughout the country. There's still a whole month and a half, basically, of basketball games to be played. So we're not just talking on Memphis. We're talking, all throughout.
You've won 10 in a row. Some most ever since you've been head coach. Does it feel like you're rolling, Coach? Does it feel like you're rolling?
Yeah, we're playing well. We've gotten better since the Bahamas. We've improved. We've gotten so much better. We've gotten better. We just we got to keep it going. There can't be any stoppage or slippage, and we can't rest on our laurels, and we can't think we've accomplished anything because there's a lot of games left. Look, we're what are we 5-0 in the league play? Well, so is Southern Miss, and I'm just telling you, there's a lot of basketball to be played, and that's one of the things, Greg. What I told our guys in the post game, it's a lot of games left. I mean, we didn't win the Super Bowl, we didn't win the championship, we didn't win any. We just is another game which. Now we move to East Carolina, which is the next game, which is the most important game because there's just a lot of basketball games to be played.
If you just look, and forget how tight some of these games are, if you just look on the surface and kind of piggybacking on what Jeff had, you're 16-3, 5-0 in the conference. You did get some votes this past week in the AP, the writers' poll. Teams continue to lose all up and down the top 25. Do you feel right now you're a top 25 team?
I do. But I don't judge. I don't make that determination. It's up to the voters. Of course, I want to be in the top 25. It's better for us. I mean, who doesn't? So, but if we want to be in the top 25, you know what we got to do? Keep winning games. It's the best thing we can do. And to go back, Jeff, I kind of lost my train of thought. What people could say, hey, you didn't take care of business early, and so you've put yourself in the no margin of error situation as of this point. But if the tournament was today, like today, we are 100% in. As an at-large in no matter what, and we're sitting. I don't care what the things say of the different mock stuff. We are by a landslide in a good position. So all you can do to take care of business is try to win as many games as you can. I mean that's the thing, and like I said on the schedule, I thought we had a really tough schedule, but some teams it just happens, and when you schedule teams. You have to predict and forecast. You can't, you can't change it during the middle of the season. You've got to predict and forecast. And like I said, in the summer, I mean, people know we were ranked in ESPN 1 of 10 or number 10 for toughest non-conference schedule.